Welcome back to the Edwards Report. My name's Kaylin, and today we are investigating the skyrocketing mortgage payments that have Americans wallowing in buyer's remorse. Let's get into it.
My mortgage went up $1,000 and I am not okay. So let me tell you guys, for
$1,000. This is crazy.
the longest time people be screaming from the hilltop, home ownership is not it. Like, don't rush, don't rush. And I will just be like, I don't understand it because I'm literally chilling, like cheaper than rent. I was bamboozled. So let me tell y'all what they do not tell y'all about real estate. So they do an analysis every year from, at least with the mortgage that I got, right? And so they did an analysis and basically my mortgage increased by $1,000.
They got me too. It got me too.
And I asked them why. And they were like, something about my house is a new build. And so I guess they charged me for the taxes when it was just the land for 2 years. Then after year 2, they add the taxes with the house actually on it. And they were like, yeah, your builder is supposed to tell you. They didn't. They didn't. And so I asked them, can I sell the house? And they were like, there's no equity in it. You guys see me smiling, but come next month, I'm literally going to be in tears because $1,000 extra a month. I legit want to move back home and live with my parents.
Swear.
But I don't have that option. I'm sick. Like, I'm sick. Honestly, don't buy a house if you're single. Like, buy a house when there's 2 incomes coming in because, baby, you gonna need it.
Mortgage has gone up another $200. So over the last 3 years, my mortgage continues to increase $200. So over the last 3 years, my mortgage has gone up $600. And it's shocking. It is very shocking because I don't feel like people talk about this. Like, people are all, often glamorizing home ownership, but not really talking about the reality of home ownership in today's economy. So not only has my mortgage gone up, my HOA continues to increase every year. And it's just all shocking.
All you can do is laugh about the HOA. Go ahead and like the video if you guys love your HOA. I should say, go ahead and like the video if you guys hate your HOA.
It is all shocking because I feel like it's not spoken about. Like, I live in South Florida, and so I guess this is something I'm gonna have to get used to because
insurance,
everything is sky high here. The property taxes are high, the cost of living is high, and so I guess it's something that I need to prepare for every year because it's just expensive to live here. But a lot of times when you think that you're buying a house, you think that you're gonna have this set rate and that you're good and you won't have to you won't experience any increases like you would if you were renting. But reality check, you will experience some increases, especially depending on where you live at.
I am this close to just thinking maybe it is better to rent for the rest of my life than to actually own property. Which sounds sad to say, but hear me out. It has always been my dream to purchase my own home, which is the whole reason I even started working 2 jobs for the last 5 years, hustling my off because I want to purchase my home so bad. I feel like a part of me is starting to realize there's so many cons to owning your own home. For example, number 1, if I were to buy it in California, I would have to have a 30-year loan, and I don't want to spend the next 30 years of my life paying off my home. That means I'm never able to just up and leave because now my home is here, my life is here. If anything goes wrong as a homeowner, I have to fix it, which could be so expensive. Roof, plumbing, maintenance, all of that, right? That's something I would be responsible for. If I move out of state though, which by the way, I can more than enough afford to pay off the home within like 5 years, then I had to pick up my whole life here, move it somewhere else, hopefully find a job over there. Even if I move it there, regardless, I can't just leave. Now my home is there. Versus if you rent, like if you rent an apartment, if anything goes wrong, you're not responsible. Also, you can up and leave whenever you want. You're not restricted. You can break.
They can also kick your tail out and raise those rents. She needs to watch some of our videos of them raising the rents. There's a lot of benefits to home ownership, but like she's saying, there are a lot of cons, including a lot of the things that you guys are going to see in the rest of this video.
The lease and you can move to another state if you please to. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So I'm going to talk to you guys about the hidden traps of buying a home from a former realtor that can't stand realtors, so I became one. And I used myself to buy my house and then got finessed by this. All right. When you buy a new construction home, you're often quoted a monthly payment that seems reasonable, maybe $1,900, $2,400. But here's the shocking truth. For the first year, many homeowners are only being taxed on the value of the land. When that property gets reassessed, your property taxes can double or even triple overnight. This is what people are not thinking about. Imagine opening that letter from your mortgage company. Surprise! Your payment is now $3,450 instead of the $1,900 that you budgeted for and even got pre-approved for. How many of you guys could absorb that kind of increase without that absolutely destroying the budget that you plan for? And it's not just the taxes. The insurance rates are exploding, especially in the coastal states like the woman that just spoke. One hurricane season can send your premiums through the roof, even if your specific home wasn't even damaged. And don't even get me started on the quality of these modern construction homes. That's equally concerning. Homes are now being thrown together with the cheapest possible materials by undertrained workers racing to meet the deadlines. One of the top comments on this past video was saying how the new homes are built too fast, too cheap, and every single corner that could be cut was cut. But as a Bible guy, Proverbs 14:15 warns us, the simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. The world wants you guys to believe that everyone involved in your home purchase has your best interest at heart. And as a former realtor, I can tell you that that cannot be further from the truth. There are some realtors that just want the commission. You really have to vet and see if people have your best interest at heart. You want people who care about people, and a lot of these people don't. Builders want quick sales, lenders want closed loans, and realtors want your commissions. I'm not saying that they're all bad, but you got to look out for yourself. I hate to have to expose everybody, but I just got to tell it like it is. If you guys are liking this video, make sure to give it a like and let me know in the comment section below how much you guys love realtors, how much you love mortgage loan originators. And while you're at it, go ahead and share the worst home buying story that you've ever heard.
And my mortgage is going up $700. I knew it was gonna be crazy because the previous owners, like the people who bought it to renovate it, they were only paying land value, even though the house had been on the market with this current rate and a current county appraisal for X amount of months. But I don't know, somehow they only were paying land value. And then I lost my ID twice. It took them 3 months to send me an ID right before the election. So I wasn't able to file my homestead exemption. And my escrow now has an overage of the amount that I owe in taxes, which is going to put my payment up $700. So yeah, hey.
Pack up the house and give it back to you. You can have it. If you own a newly constructed home or you're buying a newly constructed home, stay here. So tell me how I signed a document with all the documents signed, your payment 1907, and you signed 1 million documents. Now a year later, they hit me up in February talking about your payment is $3,450. I bet it ain't. I bet it's not. So the first year when you buy your home, your newly constructed home, they're only charging you for the taxes, the property taxes on the land, the raw land. Well, the land was only worth $60,000. Well, now that the house has been put on it and now there's a development around you, that now that land this year is worth $110,000 and they put a 400 and something, almost $500,000 house on top. So now your taxes are going to go to correct. So now your mortgage is going to increase. Now, when they done tell you got a fixed rate, you got a fixed payment and all, they not explaining to you that the property taxes will increase that payment. My payment went up to $3,450. How? Because I can pack up the house and give it back to you. You can have it. So so they send a little letter. I called because with this letter, don't send no letter when you talking about my money. I called a lady. The lady basically telling me, yeah, somebody should have told you. They didn't tell me, ma'am. And that's another thing. Your realtors, some realtors, they gonna comment, I tell my clients that was your realtor's fault. That was your okay, but we not here for that. I'm here for the people that if y'all have experienced this or if y'all about to experience this because it's y'all first house in y'all newly constructed home, the taxes is not right. Pay extra.
Facts.
Let me tell you how crazy it was, because when I signed the paperwork, they said your payment, like the lender was, my loan originator was like, your payment gonna be $2407, but when we got to the paperwork, it was $1907. So then I said, hey, it's supposed to be 24. You said nine. He said, no, don't even worry about it. That I always overbid, so when you get here, I can give you good news. And I'm over here giving him brownie points, sending him edible arrangements and and you knew it was supposed to be $2,400 because the taxes, you didn't say that. So now I'm paying $1907, happy as hell, paying $1907, and then the next year come in and I gotta pay because the escrow didn't have no.
And then they're long gone. Already got their money, gone, and there's nothing you can really do.
Money, they done paid the taxes for me. Sir, lender, I didn't ask you to pay the tax. Don't pay the taxes on my behalf. You better call me and tell me my escrow was low. So they done paid the taxes. Now they talking about I owe them $34.50 a month for the next 3 years, or I can come out of my pocket 17, 18. We is struggling. The county, the city, the states, we is America.
I regret buying a house. I regret it a lot. If I could go back to January 2022, I would tell that girl, do not. Just find another apartment to move into, because doing all this that I have to do for this house and all the unexpected costs, high dollar unexpected costs that I keep running into, to be handling it by myself. So to all you young women who want to go out and buy a home, I encourage you to really, really think about it. Talk to some people and really see the ins and outs. I mean, it always sounds good. Oh yeah, your mortgage is only going to be $1,000 until they reevaluate your property taxes, and that bitch goes up $200. It's trash. 85 degrees, your AC is going to go out. You don't want to know how much that costs. It's trash.
If you really look into this, guys, the statistics are staggering. According to recent surveys, up to 94% of Gen Z home buyers purchased during the pandemic now regret their decisions. So we really got to ask ourselves, what is driving this epidemic of buyer's remorse? I can tell you that it starts with this American dream that I don't know why we've tricked ourselves into believing in. Maybe it's just the American nightmare at this point. We've been programmed to believe that home ownership is the ultimate marker of success and stability, something everyone should aspire to regardless of their financial readiness. This cultural pressure pushes people to buy before they've even built a proper foundation. So now you got these little young bucks getting these houses and they can barely afford them. And then one little thing messes up and then boom, you're cooked. Can't even afford it. You're looking to try and sell it. And the worst part is you haven't even been in it long enough to even have equity. And then you got the FOMO, right? That fear of missing out. When the interest rates dropped during the pandemic, people panicked thinking that they'd missed their chance to buy a house. This created a feeding frenzy where buyers were waiving inspections, paying tens of thousands of dollars over asking price, and making life-altering decisions in minutes. I saw this firsthand being a realtor at the time. It was nuts. But scripture, it gives us wisdom here. In Proverbs 22:7, it tells us that the borrower is slave to the lender. When your housing costs consume 40 to 50% of your take-home pay, you're not experiencing freedom. You're experiencing bondage. When you do these mortgages, these death notes, these things don't go away for most of your life, especially if you're barely making the payments. You're not gonna be able to pay it down. You're probably not gonna be able to pay it off. And one of the most damaging myths is that renting is throwing money away. But is it really? Renting provides shelter, flexibility, and limited financial liability. If the roof leaks or property taxes increase, that's your landlord's problem, not yours. Remember Luke 12:15. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. Your worth is not determined by your address or the square footage of your house. When we view our primary residence as an investment first and a home second, we can make decisions that might look good on paper, but create daily stress in our actual lives. So do me a favor right now and comment, what housing myths did you believe that you now are starting to question, especially after watching what you're seeing today?
When I tell people that I made $85,000 when I was 22, and then at 25 is when I made my first six-figure salary, a lot of people ask, why didn't you buy a house? You should buy a house. The market's going to go this, the market's going to do that. You should buy a house. The reason why I have never bought a house is because it doesn't suit me. A lot of people buy houses because they think it's like an escape plan and that's how you're going to get rich. And especially Australians. Now, when I speak to Australians, a lot of them think buying a house is like the end goal, be all, end all. I have a completely different plan, and on top of that, I just don't want to be house broke. If you've ever heard what house broke is, it's when your mortgage takes up more than 30% of your pay slip. If I was going to buy a house at 85, 100% I was going to pay more than 30% of my weekly paycheck on a mortgage. That would make me house broke. I don't want to do that. When you're buying a house, I need you to think, do I want to buy a house because it's what everyone's told me to do? Or do I want to buy a house because this is something that suits me, especially me as well? I didn't want to live in Australia. Buying a house in Australia wouldn't have made sense because there's no way that I'd be able to manage it from overseas. It just wasn't feasible. It wasn't a right option for me. So before you buy a house, really, really think.
I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty. Okay, when I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse, okay? I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe.
When it rains, it pours, y'all. It's like Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will, especially on an 80-year-old house.
That her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was worth then.
That's the caveat. That is the caveat right there. You put up with all this mess, but that equity be hitting. And that's what you're not getting when you're renting. So the only way to offset that is to be investing the money that you're saving by not owning a home in the market and hope that it out earns and outpaces what the opportunity cost would have been if you had bought a home.
So I'm actually doing pretty good. But at the time, when I tell you I was struggling, I had to go to my parents every other day for dinner because your girl could not feed herself.
I'm honestly kind of shocked. When did we stop building real houses and start building houses made out of glue and bark chips and list them for $1 million?
So this is what I'm talking about right here. $1 million for a bunch of junk OSB plywood and bent 2x4s.
Plastic plumbing, all thrown together by the cheapest possible bids they can probably get.
And you don't even get any land for your $1 million. Look how tiny this lot is. This right here is the new type of house they're building in the suburbs of Portland, and it costs $975,000.
Literally everybody I know wants more affordable housing, but all we get are these monstrosities that are so incredibly expensive. And an HOA that costs $100 a month and doesn't let you do anything.
And that's all they're building, all around me. They opened up all these acres of old farmland, and all they're building are these ginormous houses. Even Zillow estimates the payment on this place to be over $6,000 a month.
And unfortunately, this is the future we're looking at, where no normal working class person will be able to own a home. We're talking about something like 5 or 6 of the average salary around here in order to purchase this house. Now make that make sense.
It's a brand new house. You don't need your home inspected.
Don't ever waive your home inspection.
Shout out to Preston Kincaid and the Mole Lumber. Looks like this builder bought wood from the same place. This stringer is cracked from top to bottom, all the way down. Look at that. It goes through and through.
This is uniquely bad. Like, this is outrageous. Like, it's egregious how bad this is.
That's why you need a brand new house inspected. Okay, let's check out the roof. What? I didn't even make it up on the roof yet.
Wow.
Again, pressure should be below 80. Missing the anti-siphon device. Check out these gutters. You think that's gonna catch the water? Looks like the water's just gonna dump right over it.
For $750,000?
And then on this side, you can see our downspout right here, but the gutters are sloping that way and also kind of sagging. No window screens. Did a bang up job with the caulking. Another window. Well, guess they don't want me to take the panel cover off. That's locked, which means I can't get to that screw to remove this cover to look inside for safety issues. Okay, here we go. Is the air filter dirty? Oh yeah. Ugh. Top of the shower should be sealed. Don't want mold back there. That is supposed to go, yeah. Where's the vent?
So what'd you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope that y'all are not participating in the American nightmare. I pray that the Lord blesses you, that he keeps you, that he turns his face towards you and gives you peace.